Hey fuckers, it's Friday.
Can't spell shattered without shat or turd.
Like a gut punch to the abdomen.
Some of the funniest shit on the web.
I call it a rock Fred.
I like the cut of your jib, gentlemen.
These five are the only protection we have.
The best part of this show is the genuine Hasbro love.
Good night, folks.
And of course, Pat's weekly farts.
Breaking news. It's very outside of the box.
I
love Friday. Bob's Bait and Tackle, now carrying Hasbro.
They truly are your favorite podcast.
Thoughts, prayers, likes, and shares. The A to B.
Shattered Uncut. Is that you? Shattered
When are you going to bring Larry back?
My favorite Star Wars podcast.
Shattered Cast Uncut.
Complete fuckers. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only, and its sole purpose is to entertain. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it off now and
Shut the fuck up, Chip.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Shattered Cast Uncut, episode 293. We are the Beast Team. Joining me tonight is the Beast Team. We have the one and only back from the beaches of where did you go, Matt?
Gulf Shores of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Yeah, I didn't even realize, you know. My knowledge of geography, I didn't even know there was beaches.
A lot of people. My sister-in-law didn't know where there were beaches on Alabama. I was like, yes, it's the Gulf of Mexico. I mean,
it makes sense. Like thinking about it, I'm like, I guess there would be beaches there, but
yes,
totally didn't even occur to me. And it looked like a very lovely little vacation.
It was.
There.
It was. I had a great time. It was nice. The sand was nice, and it wasn't dirty. The water was pretty, you could kind of see on the bottom. It was kind of green and everything. Mm-hmm. But it was a nice little area. It was hot, as usual, but it was a really good time. First time I've been down to the Gulf Shore, so we're planning on going back sometime. So we had a good time.
Very nice.
Did you smuggle any drugs?
Yes. Up my butt crack.
Nice.
As I would expect.
Exactly.
Joining us also tonight, as you heard, was the one and only Greg from Mercy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good. Sleepy is better than dead, so.
That's wow.
Yep. So Robert D is gone. He's still tied up in his sex trafficking ring.
Yes.
And Bobby is busy mopping floors somewhere, very urgently. It seems to happen like once every 2 weeks anymore. But what can you do?
He knew I was coming back on. That's why. Come on now. That's fine.
Yeah. So that is your whole team this time.
Wait, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. So a little bit a little tired myself, but I can't complain otherwise. So
nice.
So same order. What did we get this week? Starting with you, Matt. What did you get the last 2 weeks?
I don't think I got anything the last week. I can't remember. This one I went looking around Alabama, and I got the 10-pack of the MicroMasters from Siege. I got that thing. I got the Studio Series KSI Boss, which is pretty cool. I'm really excited to get him. I also picked up the 2-pack or the Thundercracker. I'm sorry, not Thundercracker. Skywarp from Siege. That and the 3 Battlemaster pack, and I got the G2 Sideswipe and Slam Dance, I think. I think one of the tape things, whatever. But it's Sky. Oh my God, I can't even think who they are. Flywheels, the recolor flywheels and everything. And then I picked up from Iron Factory. I got the Wheeljack, and I got the blue Wings of Tyrant, the Seeker. A lot of people are saying it's Bitstream, so I'm going with that. So I got that blue one. And that's it. I think that's all I got for this one.
Very nice.
Alrighty.
All right, Greg,
kind
what
of
did you get this week? Sorry, my brain took a second to calculate. Hear what you said. So.
Yeah, I was stuttering a lot. I apologize. But
all right, Greg, what'd you get this week?
I picked up Make Toys Thunder Erebus, Manus, with the Divine Armor set, and I got to go with my Legends, and I like him.
Nice.
He's a little huge, but he's still a lot going on. And then I got the MMC Vortex.
Nice. You like him?
I heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah, I like him. His arm his shoulders are on screws, which is a little weird. I might see if I can get a replacement arm, but I didn't really get in there good with the right screwdriver. I just kind of kept it from falling off. But we'll see. One arm's just a little looser than the other one, but like I said, I can still see there's room to tighten the screws, so that may just fix all my issues. And the head, the way it transforms the head's kind of easy to pop off, which is so nothing breaks, but it does get a little obnoxious. But other than that, it's pretty good.
You're using it for bot mode, right?
Probably.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say they've gotten it. It's pretty good. It's a really good mold.
Right. Cool.
So, very nice. Hey Justin, what did you get?
I got nothing. So I don't think I had anything. You know, I can go ahead and say that I forgot that a few weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks now. I got some Transformers animated toys, and that made me happy.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, someone on the cafe was selling some of them, and I know I had not messed with the one version of Megatron, like the Voyager Megatron. So I picked that up, and trying to think what else. I couldn't remember if I only had the Samurai Prow or if I had the regular version of Prowl, so I picked that up as well. And
that's a good one.
Yeah. So I picked that up, and I picked up the Starscream mold because, again, I couldn't remember if I had already picked up Starscream or if I had just like their repaints. So I figured it was cheap enough. Why the heck not? So.
Man, that's a good. They got some really good toys in that. I love that Blur. I was talking to you earlier when we were talking about animated. That Blur toy is really good. They got some good toys in that series. That's a fun little thing. I'd like to maybe go back if I have time to review some of those animated toys.
Yeah, they're definitely on the list of fun toys. So, yeah. So that counts for what I got this week because I forgot to mention it a couple weeks ago. So that's all. So let's move on, I guess, to some actual news, shall we? It's
if you want to call it that.
This week. So our first order of business. Whoops, let's scroll up here. Mech Fans Toy Switch. Are they going by Mechanic Studios now?
I think they've always gone by either one or something like that.
Mechanic Studios again is the original mold.
Okay, so Mech Fans Toys is the KO stuff, and Mechanic Studios is going to be their original molds. That's an easy way to keep it.
They're trying to get away from doing. I think they were trying to get away from doing KOs. Judging by their hound, just from pictures I saw, I don't know if that's the smartest move for them or not. But yeah, I went through it on an episode not too long ago, but you probably couldn't hear me over the shouting and the screeching from our northern friend. But yeah, it's the designer group. They're doing their own thing, and it's just another name. They couldn't use the Mech Fans Toys. They didn't want to be confused.
Right.
This is the original mode. The Astrotrain is original, so.
Yeah, it's looking solid. I mean, it looks like beefy, but not like chunky beefy. Just like he looks like he's made of like solid materials and like he's a decent looking toy.
Yeah, and I think he's good for this scale because I think Astrotrain should be one of the bigger ones and stuff and everything. So
yeah, I agree.
I think you can mix in with. I think you could put these in with Magic Square or New Age or something, and I think that'd be all right.
And then we saw the alt modes.
Yeah, they
a
didn't
month
look
and a
bad.
half ago or something.
They didn't look too bad either. He just got a big gap in his leg.
Yeah, it's obviously it kind of looks like he's doing like the Dinobot trick for kind of getting.
The tail, yeah.
So I kind of wouldn't be surprised at that, but it doesn't look terrible.
No, I mean the front of the the shuttle kind of fills in that gap and everything.
Yeah.
So it's.
What is interesting though, and I'm looking at other Toys. I guess it is a common thing. Like, he's got the waffles going on. I guess waffles are becoming more of a commonplace on all toys. I'm looking at the New Age Prowl, and he's got them, and I didn't even notice they were there before.
Really? I have to go back. I play a Prowl all the time. I have to go back and look at them.
Didn't even realize he had them. So, and like, they stick out here, but I mean, it's probably a result of it being a prototype.
Well, I mean, you're so used to seeing them, on the main line. If I had to go, through waffles with my reviews and everything, I would, that's the only thing I would ever talk about. So as for a long time, I just didn't really point them out because everybody knows they're there. So I just never really pay attention to waffles anymore because I just know it's the norm for most Transformers.
Yeah.
Especially mainline stuff.
Yeah. So it is what it is at this point. Have we seen all mode pics of this?
Yeah, we saw
both sides of it.
the train. Saw the train and the shuttle. While
They
back.
look good? I don't remember.
Yeah. They look
yeah.
good.
Cool. Well, good. And this is looking like a solid toy. So.
I had to pick this one up. I don't know. I don't collect McFans toy stuff or Mechanic Studios, but I don't know if we're ever gonna get a Astrotrain from anybody else. So.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see, and he's certainly gonna look better on a shelf than like the old Justy Toys World's Smallest Astrotrain. Doesn't really work for this particular scale.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Man, can you believe we're already at that point in the Legends third-party Legends scale with all these new companies popping up, where people are already saying we're never gonna get a
Astrotrain or.
I mean, didn't they just release like 6 Jazzes last week?
They did, and I have every one of them.
I still need to get that Cosmos, and I need to get the
Which
Bugs.
one? New Age.
No, who else just put out one? Magic Square.
Yeah, Magic Square got one. Yeah, I got him coming.
Yeah, I gotta get him because we have pretty much every other Cosmos. I think we're missing a Takara version, but
that New Age Cosmos is really good. It's a good mold.
Yeah, I like that mold. So. All right, well, let us move on to the next topic and shortly close out our third-party discussion here. Fanshobby has displayed a prototype for their Armada Prime, and you know what? I'm pretty impressed. Like, I don't really have any draw to Armada, but this actually looks pretty good. There's 2 links in the description if you're following along, dear listener. The first one is Optimus Prime in his robot mode, and I think that's the mode that's easiest to do. Like, I mean, I would say that the actual Armada toy is not a bad Optimus Prime, right?
Yeah, just a single. Yeah, now
yeah. I mean, like
combined
the deluxe
one was
the deluxe.
Yeah,
one.
deluxe. Yes,
yeah.
The bendy arm. I think is what they call it.
Yeah, Bendy Prime. Yeah. He got the,
Prime,
the
yeah.
name.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yes. Now the combined one.
Exactly.
The trailer was kind of
Yeah, I look at this guy and I see the Bendy Prime, and I feel like that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that looks good. But then, like, the second set of links, like where they show you the truck mode. I do think the truck's a little bit squished looking, but I mean, he's kind of a weird truck anyway, so I'm okay with that. But I really dig the combined mode. I really think that that's looking pretty sharp, and actually, like, I'm like, wow, I see what they were going with for this Prime here. You know, like the old toy is so like dumpy looking in comparison.
Well, yeah, it had no articulation. The feet, they were A stance, and that was it. And this one had, which I know it's going to, is going to have good articulation. This is going to be a pretty good one. I like it. I'm feeling this one. So.
Yeah.
But the truck, you said the truck's kind of stumpy, and I think it was stumpy in the toy also. So.
Yeah, like it's probably going to be fine, but.
Yeah.
Undeniably, it's at least a little bit stumpy there, but it doesn't look bad.
I actually predict this combined mode is going to be the end of third-party Unicron trilogy.
Nice.
You might be right. So.
I have no connection to the character, but I mean, from what I remember, it looks alright. Armada was the better of the 3, in my opinion.
I think so too. That's the one that actually like.
Really?
You know,
I think I like Cybertron. I think I like Cybertron better.
Let me justify my statement that it's a little bit biased because I haven't actually sat down and watched all of them. But I remember Armada being a watchable show.
So is that justified or justified?
That's justified. So
I haven't
like
watched
Armada.
them in a while.
It's been a minute.
Are you guys interested in these types of third-party toys? Like, I mean, is there really like the market for things that aren't G1? You know, and at this point, I guess like Beast Wars, since Takara is officially doing Beast Wars, I feel like a little bit more on the limited side. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is a?
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially for Armada, I mean, you're looking at almost 20 years now, so you got some, younger people now that this is their G1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love the Megatron from Armada also. I think that's a good mold. I think that Fanshobby would be wise and smart to go and do a Megatron. That was a good mold. I think the Cybertron Megatron was a really good mold from Hasbro. And if somebody from third party made a stylized one of that, I think that'd be really good. And the Optimus Prime too. They're making an Optimus Prime. I think Rollout or something's making a fire truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Prime
TNR.
Cybertron. Yeah, TNR. Yeah.
We'll see about that one.
Is that Megatron? Is that the car one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Cybertronic car. Yeah,
it
it's a good mold. So I think if they do, especially for Armada and Cybertron, some of the, like I said, that's some of these people's G1s and stuff, and I mean they're kind of in the what they'll be like 20, early 20s or anything like that. They're probably not in the financial place. They're probably in college and everything. They probably don't have their high paying job, whatever. But I think some people would love to see some third party stuff from these companies, especially Fanshobby. Fanshobby is a really good company, and because they do their own thing, and they're putting out obscure characters and everything. So I think it'll be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. What about you though, Matt? Are you in on this mold?
Yeah, I think I will be. Yeah. That's good.
I'm the kind of person that like I don't really say no to a Prime. So I think that this is the type of thing that would draw me in. So.
But only just a Prime. I mean, would you if they did?
No.
If they did like a Starscream, I would love to. Well, Make Toys did Starscream. Yeah. It's a wonderful figure. If they did like Demolisher. Who was the motorcycle with the two? He was kind of a split personality or some kind of thing.
Sideswipe. Yeah, or not Sideways.
Sideways, yeah. But there was a Sideswipe too. In Armada. If they did some of these characters, yeah, I'd definitely be on. I think that'd be really cool because, I bet the toys weren't that spectacular. I love the Minicon thing. I kind of wish that Hasbro would go back to maybe doing something like that because that made the toys a little interesting because you could attach them and do something, weapons or something. I would love for somebody in third party to do to tackle some Minicon stuff, and that'd be awesome. I wonder if he's going to have a Minicon with him.
He should have the.
He had the plane.
Leader one or.
Yeah, Leader one. Yeah, it's Leader one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, look,
so,
I know things about this.
It's just weird that we're talking about actually getting Armada third party stuff. Yeah, just weird.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's an interesting dynamic that we're shifting to, and I do think that we are really, we're close to seeing the end of like feasible G1 toys, right? So,
yeah,
what can we do?
It's weird. 3 years ago, we were having like Trailbreaker Wars, Springer Wars, and all these wars now, and now we're not. We're not seeing that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, did you guys pick up any of the RID stuff? I think Fanshobby.
Original toys. Oh,
no, like the third party stuff. Like pretty much everybody. Well, no, I take that back because Unique Toys didn't do recolors, and Zeta. I think Zeta's done with the Rudicus mold, but Iron Factory did
they did
Baldigus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's talk of MMC doing a Baldigus. And there's an official one. And then Fanshobby did Scourge. Granted, that was a remold, or that was a recolor from
Yeah.
Laser Prime, but still.
If they did maybe like Skybite or some of the Car Brothers, I would pick those up. RID was actually what got me back to collecting as an adult. So I would pick up some RID stuff if they did it.
Well, yeah, I know I got the Fanshobby, their Nemesis Prime. I don't have the trailer. I've always kind of been interested in the trailer, but I don't really have any place to display the trailer necessarily.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Takes up a lot of room. Yeah, I have both of the G2 one and the Scourge, and really good figures. But I just the trailers I'm sure are great, but I just like you said, I don't have anywhere to put those things.
Yeah, and like I would love to have the trailers because I think the trailers are, like they add to anything. But like I said, like I'm not displaying them in vehicle mode, so what's the point?
Yeah.
And
then if you display them with them open, like in the base mode or whatever, that's just going to take up some more room right there. So you're just like, just don't have any place for it. But I'm sure they're cool.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next topic that finishes the third-party news for tonight. And we move on to some Hasbro news. And there's not much of that either, but at least it's something, right? So the first news is that Hasbro has officially announced in 2020 they plan to, the title of the article says start phasing out plastic, but they really mean phasing out plastic in packaging and such. So I don't know. This is kind of an interesting thing to me because, I feel like even in toys we've seen them with the waffles and all that stuff starting to phase out plastic. So I actually wonder if someone said, so is this the time we're going to start getting all boxes versus, plastic blister packs and stuff like that? And I was thinking about them like I feel like we're moving, like kids these days are very much into the blind bag type things. Like, I am very worried that like Siege is done. Transformers is now a blind bag product, all bots all the time, basically.
Well, if you look at like some of the Asian Beast Wars releases, those came in boxes.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
And I mean, just because it comes in a box doesn't mean any shit Legos come in a box.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, but you won't be I don't want stuff shaking around and stuff and everything.
Well, they'll still have inserts. I mean, they can make inserts out of cardboard.
I can tell you though, those Walmart scammers, they're gonna have a field day, man.
Dude, I saw the Siege Jetfire. It comes in a box. You can't see inside of it and everything. Someone replaced that Jetfire with a Megatron from the Cyberverse, I think. And somebody I guess could tell the difference in the weight or something, and they opened it up and they saw it and it showed where they showed that, and I was like, man, that's just come on now. But whatever.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think? You think they go back to? You think they would go to styrofoam? That'd be pretty cool.
No, I don't think they're doing styrofoam. I think that's probably the one thing that's worse, right? So.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they could do composite recycled trays. They could do even like cardboard inserts that are like. I'm trying to think of an example. I haven't really bought anything that's retail that's not in plastic in a while, but there's things they can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So they include plastic elements like poly bags, elastic bands, shrink wrap, window sheets, and blister packs.
Yeah, basically anything that you would see inside that is, that is subject to some kind of rubber.
Yeah.
So.
And it's supposed to be by the end of 2022. I think it's a good thing. I mean, a lot of plastic. We waste a lot of plastic and everything. It's just taking up a lot of, space that adds up. So I think it's a pretty cool thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't affect anything adversely. If it is just a packaging thing and it's better for environment and manufacturing, all that stuff, like, great. I'm all for it. Just, I hope that the products don't ultimately end up suffering like this is, like, your first step in it, So.
Yeah. But I think it's a good thing, in the long run. A lot of people, will be worried about that, but I'm sure they'll figure something out to, because they know there's a lot of collectors. And I mean, and it is geared towards kids and everything, but they know that there are, adult collectors out there that like to keep their Transformers in good condition, So, like Greg said, I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Yeah, I mean, they've been decent. Hasbro, I think, and a few other like retail companies. I don't think. I mean, NECA still uses plastic, but
yeah, they do. Yeah.
Their ties, the ties they use to hold the figures down, if they do, I mean, they've switched to that cloth paper, not cloth, the white paper ties.
Kind of cardboardish kind of thing.
Yeah. So.
Do you think any other companies are going to follow suit with this? Like, I mean, I know Hasbro is one of the bigger toy companies, but do you think any other ones will, or have they already started doing that?
I think you'll see people somewhat following suit. I'm sorry, I was just kind of thinking, because Greg had said like the cardboard like twist ties. Didn't Hasbro used to do that?
I think they still do.
Do they? Because I know I've seen. I haven't really purchased a retail figure lately, but I've seen a lot of those like those little tags that you can get on like your clothes and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't bought. I haven't bought a retail thing.
The retail stuff now use kind of like a rubber, I think it's still plastic, but it's very thin. Like it's not like a twist tie. It's like it feels like a rubber band kind of material. So
I got a couple.
It's kind of strapped over the toy itself. So it's still plastic, but not as much as a twist tie would be. So that's what they're going towards. That's what they've been going towards since Combiner Wars, I think. Been doing that. I can't remember the last time me doing a twist tie. I can't remember the last time ever doing that. So it's been a while. So they've already started. They've already started moving towards, the no plastic thing. I wonder if they're going to take those out. I wonder what they're going to do to secure the toy.
Do you think that going for a complete box thing versus having any kind of window? I mean, I guess technically they could still do some kind of packaging that you can actually see the toy in some way. Like maybe it's actually somewhat exposed, right? Because I feel like my urge to buy a retail toy would be more heightened, I guess, if you kind of can see it, like in this particular market. So I don't know. I mean, like I say that, but like, like that box art for like old G.I. Joe and Mask and stuff, like you couldn't see those toys, but that stuff drew you in. So I mean, I guess it could go either way.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, if they're going to eliminate the plastic thing, like I don't know how they're going to secure the toy. And like you said, people like to see it, when they're buying something, because that's with anything, with food, if it looks good, it may taste like crap, but you're still going to buy it because it looks good. But with the toy, it's also the same thing. You want to see it, and like you just said, the scammers or people that people that switch out their stuff. This is going to be a field day for them because nobody can see in them.
Yeah.
So that's a good. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see exactly what the end result being. I still think we're going to see the toys somehow displayed. I don't know. Maybe your toys are all going to have like some kind of like screwed piece that like screw. Well, I mean that requires plastic in some way to secure it by a screw. So I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I wonder if third parties are going to start doing that too.
Third party doesn't care. They already use boxes. So our last piece of news here. I guess it's TF Nation, I believe it was. Let me look.
Yeah, overseas. Yeah.
So it's an overseas Transformers convention. They actually ended up. Excuse me, I'm choking. So anyway, overseas they had a Transformers convention, and they had Marty Eisenberg of various Transformers fame was there and did a panel, and he did a lot of points about Transformers animated and the things like we could have seen. You know, some of it we've kind of already seen and heard in the Allspark almanacs and stuff that they released, and a lot of it's a lot of interesting information, I guess, that they've thrown out there. Let's see. So I guess we can go kind of through some of these points, and if anything really jumps out as something to discuss, then let's go ahead and discuss it. So they said some key points include how Hasbro wanted to do some toys, like a Power Master Optimus Prime and the Marauder Megatron. I believe those are the prototypes that we've seen already in the Allspark Almanac stuff. I would have loved to seen that Power Master Prime. It's like the first. It was actually Prime with the full trailer, which is definitely something that I wish there was an animated toy. If third party makes an animated toy, that's what I want to see. Is the trailered Prime. I really think that's a must-have for me personally. So Marauder Megatron, if I remember right, he was kind of like a weird tank thing, but I don't really quite remember.
Nice.
Let's see. Optimus Prime would have got his movie flames.
Oh, they would. Oh, how they ran for. Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Spare thought also for Beachcomber. The team wanted to have him killed off in season 3 in a cutscene. He'd have died in season 4 instead. And if that got cut, he would have died in season 5. So they really wanted to have a dying Beachcomber in there somewhere.
Beachcomber is mentioned quite a few times in this thing.
Yeah. So let's see. Going down. They said they never really figured out what they wanted to do with Sari's story, but they would have figured it out by the finale, and she would have had a true purpose, is their words. So that would have been interesting to see. I feel like, she's a solid character, one of the more solid human characters in a Transformer Prime, or Transformers continuity, I would say.
She wasn't annoying, so she had annoying sometimes, but
yeah.
They said the focus would be been on mini-cons. That would have been pretty neat.
Yeah.
The Decepticons would eventually come back. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Megatron was completely losing it at this point in the story, and not quite Beast Machine's genocidal, but on his way there. Like it. I feel like, and maybe I haven't seen animated for a while, but I do feel like there was like a slightly, darker underlying plot going on. That would have been interesting to see them flesh out even more.
Yeah. So, everybody loves a crazy Megatron, so I said a lot of stuff about Beachcomber was intended for season 3.
Was supposed to catch Shockwave, saying, "Dude, not cool." Then Shockwave would kill him. That was cut. Then it was intended for season 4, and Blackout would have killed him.
My God!
And if that season hadn't happened in season 4, he would have died in season 5 because Marty did not like Beachcomber.
Oh, well, come on now. Unicron considered too big for animated.
That's fair, because I like Unicron. I think he works in the context of the movie, but I don't necessarily think he fits every theme. For instance, Transformers Prime, like when we got to the point that we were introduced that Unicron was like, we're on Unicron now, we all live on him. Like, I feel like that was unnecessary.
I liked him in Armada. I thought it was good.
I just feel like you don't need to shoehorn him in because he is a known big bad. So
that is true. Yeah, you don't have to.
No plans for Megatron to become Galvatron. That's fine. I don't think that is 100% necessary. So,
that's a good point.
Last episode was intended for season 3, but it got bumped to season 3 opener and made into a 3-part.
I would love that. That would have been pretty cool.
Let's see.
Blitzwing as a character was born from Marty. Blitzwing was a weird character also. He was kind of on the crazy side.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so, and like you can definitely tell, and they said that he was very much influenced by He-Man's Manny Faces.
That
definitely.
That is
totally an obvious thing.
Dude, there was a running joke about a character called Tractor. He was an inner jump farmer. Oh my God, that would have been awesome. We got the moose, the moose tracks from RID. So that was pretty cool, but that would have been neat if they would have made a tractor. Didn't Animated have two of the Constructicons? Was it two or three of the Constructicons?
It did. They had Long Haul and I think Scrapper. I think it was Scrapper. And then they had Dirt Boss, who was, teased as the head for Devastator.
Yeah, and I think wasn't there like a nod, like the last time you saw them, they said they were going to form something, or
I think so. They were gonna build something big or something like that.
Yeah, build something. Yeah, that would have been pretty cool if we got a Devastator out of Animated. That would have been pretty cool. Blur. So yeah, we talked about this earlier. Blur got killed and was not intended to come back. He was gone for dead. I like Blur. I thought Blur was good.
Yeah, he's one of the better, I think, molds even from that particular.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, Omega, man, I remember that was a big push to have Omega as a toy.
Yeah, so I've seen there was some customizers, or at least one customizer out there before that actually did a custom Arc Omega, and I think my friend owns it.
Really?
He has it and doesn't want it anymore. It was like beautiful, like it transformed. It looked like the Arc, like. I would love to see that, like even if it was like a, just like a Metroplex G1 size toy, like I think that would just be cool to own.
Oh yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Human villains phased out; they fell by the wayside. Like that's really not that surprising. Like they were fine for like season 1, but they didn't really have much purpose outside of that. What else?
Cartoon Network wanted Mari to crew the Age Up, the show for season 3. Huh. Okay. Bulkhead was the first character he designed. That's pretty cool. I like Bulkhead. That's a good one.
Lockdown was based on wanting a version of Death's Head that Hasbro could own. I could totally see that. It's cool.
What was the motorcycle? Oil Slick?
Oil
Slick, was his
yeah.
name? That was that's another good character and a good toy also.
Yeah, and if he says, if you want to know more, get the Allspark Almanacs. And in response to that, I say, why wasn't some of this information in the Almanacs? I don't remember it. I've read them both cover to cover.
That's true. I need to get. Are they easy to get, the Almanacs?
I haven't looked for a while. I can't imagine they're too hard, but they're pretty well done. I can't remember. I remember the first one a lot more than I remember the second one. But I remember it being written a lot from like Bumblebee and Bulkhead's perspective, which made it kind of a fun read. So I highly recommend it. I think if you're a fan of that series, then by all means you should go ahead and do yourself a favor and read those. We were discussing. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go on. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Matt and I were discussing pre-show while we were waiting to hear something from Greg. We really think like. Hasbro had said they wanted like direct to Netflix type content, and like this is the type of thing that really should be out there. Is like go back for these things that really should have gotten more love or more time, but like your Cartoon Networks and stuff kind of canceled at some point, and like finish it. Like I don't know.
Jesus Christ! Sorry, I just looked on Amazon for the first Allspark Almanac. And it ranges in price from $179.99.
Oh hell no!
to $435.08.
Justin, let me borrow your copy. Right?
I will. I'm not gonna
there are
say
digital versions available,
but
Hey, Greg, would you be interested? Would you be interested in a season 4 or 5 of Animated? Were you much of a fan of Animated?
I enjoyed it. I need to go back and watch it again. I was like really like catching up on a bunch of stuff when I watched it again. So that would be when I need to sit back down. I have a app on my smart TV. Actually, all my it's on Roku, it's on the Kindle, and the Fire Stick, and it's on smart TV. It's Tubi, and it's got like all those old cartoons on there.
Oh, nice.
Is it free?
Yeah. It's got Cops. Remember Cops?
I do.
Cops and Crooks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Crash Test Dummies.
I have a Roku. It's in my basement. That's where the Roku is. Everything else is Amazon Fire Sticks.
Well, it's on the Fire. I think it's on Fire Stick. I'm pretty sure.
Is it? Okay. Because I'll have to look. If it is, like, that's definitely something that would interest me. Because who doesn't love old cartoons?
Yes, TUBI.
Tubi. I got these on DVD.
They have all the they have all the anime. They have all the Transformers series. Oh, excuse me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They don't have the Japanese ones, but they have all the American ones.
I'd like to go. I got the Headmasters, and I want to watch the Headmasters again. I think that's a pretty good series.
Did you ever watch Master Force, Matt?
I don't think so. No.
I didn't really care for Master Force. Like after Headmasters, like I feel is like bad G1 to me, but it was like still
it's still
good,
watchable.
You know, like it was like maybe not the worst of G1, but it wasn't like the best of G1. But it was still very G1 feeling. But Master Force, like that whole thing where it's like now the Transformers are kind of mechs. I'm like, I don't like this. You know, like
I didn't watch Master Force, and I didn't watch Victory either. So I think I may have Victory or Master Force on DVD. I have to look over there real quick. I know I got the Headmasters, but I never watched Master Force or Victory. I just dig into. I need to. I mean, it would be cool to go back and watch them, but just never did.
Yeah, I would say, so Victory was also super hard for me to get through, because it masquerades as like it's a weird sequel to Master Force and kind of Headmasters, but like it just, I don't know if it's that Master Force took the wind out of my sails, or if you know, it was just like the fact that I don't know. The fiction wasn't very good to me. I'm not really sure what it was, but like I just didn't care for Victory like I did Headmasters. So.
Yeah, I like Headmasters. It's great. It's actually one of my. We got a top 5 coming up, I think.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's discuss. This week we have some top 5s. Thank you. I'm not sure who submitted a top 5. Greg had saw that. We will get to that. I think that's probably, if you're gonna suggest one, it's best to do it with the rest of the crew here. So we're not gonna go ahead and answer that right now. We also have another top 5 that we are, planning. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and do a top 5 Transformers series for us.
Yeah. So we've talked about favorite series anyway, so we're just kind of rehashing stuff, I guess.
Hash.
So Matt, do you wanna? All right, how do we want to roll this particular one?
Does everybody want to do their 5, or do they just want to go 5? Everybody does their 5, everybody does a 4, everybody does a 3.
I think we should all do it at one time.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
We're just gonna shout out things. Ready?
Headmasters.
So do we want to put this in order or just in general top 5?
I got mine in order, so I mean it don't matter. I mean we can.
Hey, Matt, give us your number 5.
My 5 is going to be Headmasters. I think, like you just said, it was kind of goofy, but it still had that G1 kind of feel to it. You had some good fights. The Soundwave and this, Blaster, and then new Blaster or new Soundwave and all that stuff. But it's kind of corny. But I like the Headmaster as toys also. I think it's a good gimmick. And I picked Headmasters as my number 5.
Greg, would you like to go or do you want me to go?
I'd say my number 5 is probably Victory, or Master Force.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it gives you all the Power Master toys that were on the shelf when I was a kid, like that I didn't know who the hell they were because I never really got into the comics until later. So.
Gotcha. Good choice. Justin, what's your number 5?
I think I am going to throw mine to Beast Wars. Because, it is definitely not my favorite. But I would say that as a Transformers franchise in the 90s, like, it definitely tried to do something with the franchise and still kind of keep it tied to G1, even though it was different, And I do applaud them for that thing. Like, it was the Star Wars original trilogy, or new trilogy to the original trilogy, so to speak. So I'm okay with that. Like, I don't think it's aged well. I think like all that 90s stuff with those old computer animations, like they really have not aged well to me. But I think it deserves a list or a spot somewhere on my top 5.
Nice, very nice. I guess my turn again. Number 4, I am gonna pick animated. Just like we just talked about animated and everything. It was a good series. It was actually one of the first BotCon I ever went to was animated theme. I got to meet some of the voice actors and everything, and it's a good toy line too. I mean, they really got some outstanding toys in that. And the story, I may go back and watch the 3 seasons that were out and everything. So, and I would like to look at that almanac. I think it'd be pretty cool. So my number 4 is animated.
Very nice. So my number 4, I'm gonna go ahead on this one, Greg. My number 4 actually does go to the Headmaster side of things. Again, it was a fun continuation of G1 to me. It still felt very much in the vein of G1, so I'm putting it there.
Nice. Greg, what's your 4?
I'm going to agree with Matt and say animated. I don't remember a whole lot because it's been a while. But I do like how I got back to the robots and pretty much, I mean, it was pretty straightforward as far as Transformers go. And yeah, the toys, I remember the toys being fun. I had a few of them. So I'll give that number 4.
It was kind of like, you know, I want to say kiddie, but it was also fun for adults to watch it too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing going on.
Yeah, they definitely had some like zanier, I want to say like zanier Cartoon Network type
yeah, the animation
that were going on there, and the animation definitely can feel that way. But I do think that, you know, like the overlying story was pretty solid. Yeah, so.
Okay. My number 3, I guess I'll go first, is Beast Wars. Beast Wars, like, I mean, it's a wonderful storyline. I mean, you know, it was one of the better storylines that Transformers have given out. And I like the toys. The toys were pretty cool too. And like you said, it kind of saved Transformers at that time. You know, Transformers kind of going, you know, not doing well at all. And then here comes the Beast Wars. And I know it's a different, you know, what Bobby says or anything is a totally different thing than what G1 was. But I think it still captured the essence of Transformers, you know. And then they threw in the G1 stuff, which really helped it a lot. But I love the story of it. You know, Dinobot is probably one of the better characters of any Transformer line, you know, or series, you know. So, my number 3 is going to be Beast Wars.
Very nice.
Great. What's your number 3?
Oh, okay. I thought Justin was going to go.
No, I'm going.
I don't know what order we're in now. Once again, I'll agree with Matt. I think Beast Wars is my number 3.
So for me, I'm going to go with Transformers Prime on this one, because I think it was really good. It's not my favorite Transformers, obviously, but you know, the toys were good. This is a case where, you know, like, my opinion of this could change 10 years from now when computer animation is even different. I do feel like Transformers Prime was a little bit sparse on like interactions with things that weren't the character of the week, or, you know, even the characters we've already seen. Like, there was a little bit, it was definitely set out in a desert, you know. There wasn't a whole lot to see. But I mean, it'll probably age better than Beast Wars, but you know, the point of it is that you know, it was still a little sparse to me, but it was a good show. It had a very good story. Didn't care much for the Beast Hunters part of it, but at least you know, Prime itself was a really good show.
Yeah, nice. I also want to say also the Beast Wars, the voice acting was really good too. Scott McNeil, you know, David Kaye, you know, all those, you know, were really good voice actors. So that was another reason why I probably picked 3. But my number 2 is going to be Prime, just because it's a good series. You know, the Dark is a kind of a darker kind of series. I love one of my favorite Starscream's characters is from Prime. I mean, that was Starscream basically.
I mean, I think that was to me the best characterization of Starscream since G1.
Yeah, exactly. And I could even think it's a good run to be, as good as G1
I would
character.
agree. I would say that the only reason G1 is above it is because it's older and more iconic.
Oh yeah, definitely, and the voice. I mean, that's what. I mean, some characters have certain things, and Starscream's voice is just one of his. Everything. So that just everything. But yeah, Prime is the toys, like y'all said. The toys are wonderful. I think they're one of the better lines to come along in the Transformers series. So Prime is my number 2.
Critically speaking about Prime, though, the one thing that sticks out to me with it is I know, obviously logistic reasons that The Rock was in episode 1 as Cliff Jumper and was like dead by episode 2.
No, he done 1. Oh, did he die 1?
No. I can't remember. He was dead very quickly though, right?
Yes.
And it's like I get it, and it kind of set up the series to be, I guess, a little bit darker. But like, I remember the thing that was like impersonating Wheeljack kind of died, but there really wasn't like after that point like it was a little more tame, I guess.
Yeah, so. Wheeljack was a good character in that too. I liked it. He wasn't, he was kind of more of a, I don't want to say a bounty hunter, but more of a, he wanted to attack things and stuff. He just wasn't, inventing, stuff like in G1. So I really liked Wheeljack as a character in that too. That's just me.
Oh, yeah.
Greg, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be Prime.
Nice.
Up until Beast Hunters.
I don't remember Beast Hunters that well. I'd have to go back and watch Beast Hunters. Yeesh.
I remember when those toys came out, and I was so excited for new Prime toys. And I walked over to Toys R Us on my break, and I think I picked up Wheeljack and Soundwave, and it was just like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff on them, and yeah, it was.
There was a point in time. I took the Beast Hunters Optimus Prime, which I thought was a legitimately good mold, and I actually turned it into a custom Grimlock, which looked really cool. And then so then I went and I bought like Starscream, Wheeljack, Bulkhead. I forget what else. And I was gonna try to make like basically like Beast machines, like actual vehicle mode versions of all the Dinobots to go with Grimlock, and just never got around to it.
Oh, that'd been pretty cool. What's your number 2, Justin?
My number 2. So I'm gonna out my number 1 probably by doing this. G1.
Oh.
It's definitely the most iconic Transformers, probably deserving of the number 1 spot. But to me, not the best story.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But that's my number 1. I mean, it's it's what you said, iconic and everything. It is not the best, animation, or well, not animation, but they had a lot of miscues and stuff and mess ups and everything. But it's what got what got us started. Most of us people our age right now, what got started was G1 and everything.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, without a doubt, it deserves its place on the list. Whether it deserves number 1 or not, I mean, that's kind of up to you. But,
and voice acting, like I said, with the Beast Wars, with G1 you had wonderful voice acting. Frank Welker, Peter Cullen, all this other, So it's, that's my number 1.
Yeah. Greg.
G1.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Oh wait, shit! Fucking goddamn it! I meant to say the Bayverse.
Alrighty.
No, Bayverse. Okay, I would give it to Bayverse. You know what? People shit on Bay all the time, but he did put Transformers back on the map. He put them, worldwide. And I have to give. He would definitely be in the top 10, definitely, maybe top 7 or something like that. But I mean, a lot of people want to shit on Bay for what he did, but. Transformers may not be as popular as they are now if it wouldn't have been for him. I'm not saying that, and that's just what I'm saying. I'm not, saying it's true, but he did help, bring Transformers. He revived them.
Yeah, I definitely think there is an aspect that is fair to say that you like Bay better than what's out there, or even giving it a nod to the top 5. Like, I know, I would say most of this podcast is not necessarily a fan of the Bayverse, but like, I mean, Transformers were, somewhat obscure, falling into obscurity, And I mean, like it or not, Bayverse put it in front of millions of faces. And,
it got popcorn, watchers to actually, know what Transformers are.
And I don't think anyone here is gonna fight and say that the story that the Bayverse had is good. But I think like a lot of, outside of probably Bobby, but like most of us can agree that they're at least popcorn flicks that, popcorn big budget action flicks that you're not going for the story, Yeah,
they just wanted action and boobs.
Yeah.
Lots of action and blow-ups and everything. So, and I'm guessing your number one's going to be animated?
Goddamn right it is. So, for the same reason, as Greg had put it on his list earlier, like, I really feel like it's since G1, which like obviously G1 was a lot of times inspired by like, here's the toys we have, how can we make some kind of fiction for this that is going to make kids buy it? Like, this took such to me, a love of G1 and those characters, and went ahead and, made it in such a way that like the toys transformed like they look on screen. Like, they were so full of personality. Like, that's definitely my favorite. And it's just because it was made by fans that love G1 so much that made it so good to me.
What did you think about Prime not being, like, Prime? Like, he was not the leader. He was just regular.
So, I was okay with it. Because he was still a leader of something. Like, he wasn't, it wasn't traditional
he wasn't
Prime.
The leader. Yeah.
But I don't think that, like, the feeling you got of Optimus Prime, from G1, like, he was the leader of the Autobots, whatever. But, like, really, like, G1 almost made it feel like he was this leader of, like, a group of, like, Arcbots, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I think, like, there's room to reimagine a character while keeping a lot of the same things. And in the case of Transformers animated, it was really like a situation where, like, he's still kind of that leader, that one that the team was looking up to and all that stuff, but he just wasn't the main leader, so which then I think made a different an interesting aspect to it, because like he did things and was with a team of people that were kind of outcasted from the leaders of Cybertron and stuff, which was just an interesting slant on the story.
That's good. I don't interrupt this, I'm sorry, but okay, the Make Toys crowdfunding for the Purple Seeker?
Yeah.
You know that? Out of 500 that needs to be sold, only 93 has been funded.
When does that end?
12 days. 12 days.
Okay. And let's do our Unicron check too. Unicron ends in 10 days.
And we got almost 3,000. But I've heard the sources that counting everything, from retailers and over there in Japan, everything, that's close to 6,000 or over 6,000. So it might make it if they include everybody else's. I think so.
What's
I hope
interesting?
It does.
Where are these other supposedly coming from?
Oh God damn it! Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. It's gonna be from like Takara, Tommy Mall, and retailers. That added like BBTS and Chosen Prime, all them things. I think they haven't counted those in yet, and I think if they count those, it's going to be close to over 6,000 backers right now. I think so. I don't know if it's true. Just some sources out there are saying that it is. But I just think it's funny about the Make Toys because everybody's waiting for that solar storm and everything, and it took a year to make, and everybody there was a lot of people, their stuff were breaking and everything. So I think that really hurt this purple one, the Bitstream, I think, from being made. So just want to point that out. It's something we didn't have very much to talk about. So all right, we can move on.
All right. Well, that is the discussion. Do we have any questions? Who's reading questions?
Yeah, I want to read. Oh God, I hate reading.
Matt, you're back.
Greg, you want to read?
No.
Okay. This is from MP Collector. With the Unicron crowdfunding campaign drawing to a close soon, I would love to hear your thoughts on regarding any design decisions Hasbro could have made differently that may have increased our community support for this effort. For example, if they could have done a better job with the back or ankle kibble or made it removable entirely, would that have made a big difference? What if they had done a better job aligning the aesthetics with the Masterpiece line rather than War for Cybertron stuff? Did it need to be a few inches taller? Did it need to have more electronics? Or is it perfect as is, and the support just may not be there? Number one fan, MB Collector. So, do you think that they could have done anything to make this more pleasing? Basically saying.
I mean, I definitely think they could have. I think, having... So it's kind of hard to say. Like, I know we've seen transformation steps, some videos on it, but I mean, it's hard to say.
They showed the full transformation.
Right,
actually.
right. But yeah. If we pull off the ankle kibble, is there any way that you can attach that to him in such a way that, there's not some big glaring, clip-on port there? I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that this is the type of thing, align the aesthetics with Masterpiece. That's hard to say, too, because I feel like Masterpiece itself doesn't align its own aesthetics with Masterpiece. I mean, since MP10 up until, I guess, technically, what mold would be the first one? Probably Inferno. You were going for realistic cars that transformed into the G1 recognizable characters, and somewhere along the way we've decided we don't need to do that. I feel like Inferno could have been made almost exactly how he was, but they could have still put some more details in him and he would have sold just fine. But then they made the switch to the Tune aesthetic, So yeah. I mean, I don't think Hasbro or Masterpiece really knows what the Masterpiece aesthetic is. I'm looking at Unicron. I mean, when you look at, I guess, Masterpiece aesthetic, are you saying, take out all the, interesting little panel lining and details of his face and the horns?
Oh, make him more cartoon.
Yeah,
accurate.
What I feel like that would make it less appealing because it's so big, and if it's looking so bland.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will bitch about it being so bland. I need some details and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I don't. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, go on. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just kind of going through each of the points here. Make it a few inches taller. I don't know. I think it's big enough. That planet mode is a beach ball or something like that. It's huge. More electronics. I don't think the solution to any transformer is electronics, honestly. I'm not a fan of electronics. A lot of times, they cripple things. If it's in, the head, the eyes, a lot of times, well, I mean, I guess you can put just batteries in the eyes, but if it's linked to some kind of sound clip, there's a wire in the neck and you can only do so much with it,
That's actually why they didn't put electronics in it.
Yeah, and so it cripples those types of things. So that, it's not really something I want to, want added to it. So in my opinion, I think it's mostly perfect as it is. You could clean up some of the kibble and stuff, but I don't even care that he has the little stand, because you need the stand for the planet mode. And if I'm gonna have him in robot mode, whatever, sure, go ahead, support him a little on the shelf. It's fine.
I don't think he's gonna need the stand when he has in robot mode, but I love that planet mode. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things show him with the stand, and that could just be because it's prototype at this point.
It's a prototype. Well, I mean, they're always. I mean, you've seen every show they're just leaning forward or something, or
right.
I don't know where people gonna. I mean, people are grappling about the the potato chips and everything on the back and the legs, but where are you gonna put it?
Yeah, I mean the only option is to take it off and put it somewhere else.
All you would have to do parts forming. I said parts forming. I meant parts forming. Now they said Zeta said that which I've not seen all the they haven't shown a full body pic of it, but everything. But they said that Zeta has cleaned it up and everything is supposed to be real clean and everything. And until I see that, I don't believe it. But I mean it's possible. But and also Hasbro has to go through, safety checks that third party doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through a lot of safety regulations and everything that has to, do this and that and everything. I did watch the transformation video, and it does look scary. I'm not gonna lie, that's going to be a pain in the butt to transform. But I just don't think, I don't know where you're going to put all that stuff. It's a huge planet. This thing is, where are you going to put it at? Yeah. And if you want to put it inside of him and everything, so he's going to be like, Energon Prime. He's going to be Tubby Prime, because and all that stuff is going to be in there. So you have to make room for it. So the only way you can fix that is by parts forming.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't mind. I love parts forming. I mean, I think Zeta, the combiners from Zeta, are awesome with parts forming. So if this was parts forming, I wouldn't care, but it's not. So I mean, I think I don't want to say they did the best they can. They just did, I mean, like I said, where else are they going to put it?
Yeah, this is the kind of thing, like, it doesn't, like, the panels and stuff don't really bother me. To me, they kind of add to the bulk and, like, the massiveness of the figure. So, I don't know. It doesn't bother me, I think, as it bothers other people. So, and you know what? Honestly, if you are the type of person that wants to figure out how to take these off, like, I'm sure there's going to be videos online about knocking out pins and this, that, and the other thing, so you can just detach, some of these pieces you don't want. I would also be surprised, too, if it doesn't stand. I think having it on a stand is a good idea to help support it, but, I think that this is going to be the type of thing that there's going to be, big, thick, heavy ratchets on there, and,
Oh, yeah, massive ratchets. Oh. What do you think, Greg? Or do you even care?
I just don't. I don't see a way that they could. I don't know, man. I'm just so over this Unicron. Like, I kind of
you don't see where they could, put the panels and stuff, or how they could make it cleaner, I guess.
Yeah, but then that's going to limit, like, that's gonna be just like electronics. If they stick all the panels all in the legs and stuff, that's going to limit the mobility.
Right.
People are going to complain about that.
And another thing is, like, if you have to open the legs up so you can take these panels and you can fold them 700 times and stick them in the legs, like, it's gonna, like,
like I said, it's gonna make them
bigger.
Look
like shit, Yeah, like.
I love the planet mode, man. That's how I'm gonna display mine.
Yeah, like, could you imagine if these panels, which already come apart quite a good bit, but, like, if they folded up so they could fold somewhere and tuck into something, like, could you imagine what it would look like in planet mode? Like, it would be silly. Like, there'd be tons of cracks in the panel mode and hinge joints and all this stuff all over the place. Like, I don't know. So you got to pick and choose somewhere, and I just feel like even though they're there, they're not as distracting as I think people are making them out to be.
Hey, you know what they say, Justin?
What did they say?
Hasbro if you do, Hasbro if you don't.
Goddamn right.
I just don't get why people want. I mean, and a lot of people don't. I don't get why people want it to fail. Like they're betting on, like, they're hoping on, like, why do y'all want this to fail? If this gets made,
they can't afford it, and if it gets made and they can't afford it, then there's a chance that they even more can't afford it after. So,
I don't understand.
What I can't have should fail.
Well, I understand why people, would say, I just don't like it. I don't want to get it. That's fine. That's understandable. But
that's
to
your
people,
prerogative.
to people to say that they want it to fail, like they're laughing at, and I'm just like, why do you want to? This is one of your, the reason why you like, you're into Transformers, to see stuff made and everything. So they're trying to give us something that we want, because once that barge was made, everybody's like, man, if they did a Unicron, I'd be in on that and everything. And they give us a Unicron. It's not, like I said, everybody's not going to like it, but it's pretty good.
I'll be honest with you. Since that barge has been getting made, I've had to ask myself some serious questions if they made a USS flag. I'm like, do I like G.I. Joe enough to get a USS flag? I'm like, I've kind of want a USS flag, but I know that I have no place in this house that a USS flag fits.
Give it time, dude. Give it time. I don't want to put money on it, but I bet that will be either the next or the next after that will probably might be a U.S. flag.
Yeah, I could see them doing the USS flag, especially if there is success in upcoming G.I. Joe movie, which I heard news about that apparently it's going to be a movie based on Chuckles. Like, who the fuck wanted that? So,
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
No, really.
I like
Who's
Chuckles.
Yeah,
Which
he's
one's
okay,
Chuckles?
but I mean, like, did you want a movie about him?
Remember in the movie when they're doing the training with the 5 new ones? He's the guy in the Hawaiian shirt that takes the missile and just runs it up to the tank.
Uh-huh.
Well, no,
They're
Justin
making off
or Matt was like, "Who's Chuckles?" So.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making it based off. I thought it was supposed to be off of Snake Eyes.
Yeah, no, it's supposed from what they announced, it's supposed to be something with Chuggles.
Well, now I read that it was going to be from the perspective of Shipwreck's parrot.
Oh, that's awesome though. I wouldn't mind. I would hate on that. Oh, let me ask y'all this. What do y'all think about the Netflix He-Man coming to Netflix with Kevin Smith? What do y'all think about that?
I saw that. I'm not the biggest He-Man fan, but I would probably be tempted to check that out. So, and it's supposed to pick up from where
really
the 80s
excited.
left off, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I mean, that's cool.
They can do so
I dig
much
that
with
type
this
of thing,
stuff.
and like, if nothing more, I'd watch it just to support it and be like, yes, please do more things like this.
Well, I like these quote unquote like adult continuations they do. Like, remember G.I. Joe Resolute?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Resolute? No,
Revolution?
it wasn't Resolute. It was what was the mini series they did on Adult Swim?
That I'm not sure. I don't think
I
I
don't
saw.
know. I didn't know
Like,
they
it
did that.
starts out with Major Blood stabbed in the heart.
I don't know that one.
I don't either. Wow.
Yeah, and it was like
That's dark.
yeah, like it was completely dark.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
I'm
never heard
okay
of-
with that kind of stuff. Like, I would like to see that, So
Yeah, they kill off a whole bunch of characters. I think Cobra Commander just destroys Moscow to prove a point.
That'd be. I mean, man, they could do so much with Netflix. They could bring back so many things. Like, they did the Voltron. I think they did She-Ra. I would love to see Mask. I think that
Mask,
could.
I think Mask would do good, and like.
Oh, I know it would.
I've been saying for a while, like, I would like to see both Mask and G.I. Joe both fall
together?
into the same scale.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like, think about it. Like, so one thing that's integral to G.I. Joe is the vehicles, right? I mean, undoubtedly, the vehicles are huge for G.I. Joe, but those vehicles are huge. Like, they take up a ton of space. Like, you could make a smaller action figure that fits inside a smaller vehicle, a la the old Mask figures. You could give it, I mean, somewhere along the way, you could figure out a way to put some accessories out there that work for them, some guns or things like that. Maybe you put them on a sprue. I don't know what it takes to get past safety. You just say, this is a hunk of plastic, cut it off if you want it, right? So you get that, you get the vehicles, you get, your HISS tanks and all that in the Mask scale, and then boom, you also put out Mask figures that use the same, base molds with masks on them instead of guns, and some transforming vehicles, that I'm sure you could repurpose into G.I. Joe vehicles even. So, this is what did they do? When the first movie came out, I remember there was a Hummer G.I. Joe vehicle that it was like a Cobra vehicle, and like it had like armor plates and stuff, and like this totally looks like that one Mask vehicle that the one bad guy drove around in. He had the like blazer. I can't even think what it's called, but it transformed into like the Cobra like assault strike vehicle or something like that. I don't
Are you
know.
talking about the black SUV? Or
Yeah.
whatever, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say Cannonball, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to.
I know who you're talking about. The top of the back half of it came up and it had two.
Exactly, and like
blasters coming out.
the window. The window had the like the blast shield came up. Like,
Yeah.
look, so this is what was called the G.I. Joe Steel Crusher APV. Like,
Yeah.
here I'm gonna link this to our little chat here, and like look at that, and don't tell me that that's not that Mask vehicle. Let me see. What is the name of that SUV? The black SUV for Mask was called Mask Toys.
Oh, yeah.
Mask Toys and Vehicles. What is this guy's name?
Oh, this was from the movie. I was thinking back to old school.
Mm-hmm. So this is, goddamn, Jackhammer is the name
Jackhammer. Okay.
of the vehicle. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely.
Let me see. Mask Jackhammer.
There's
just for Greg's reference here, I'll show trying to find a picture of it in the armed up mode. Here we go, right here.
Are you implying that I never watched Mask?
No, I just to refresh your memory here.
Oh, what about Matt's memory?
So there we go.
Yeah, mine definitely needs to be refreshed all the time.
That's racist.
I thought Matt had an active mask collection in his house. My apologies
I have
for
this one.
thinking
I
elsewhere.
do. I do.
God, Justin, dust your fucking links.
Hey.
Yeah, I know, right? It's terrible. But like that's the jackhammer, and like you can't look at that steel crusher and not kind of see the jackhammer in it, So like if you can do those toys for the G.I. Joe movie, and people ate it up, like you can do it for Mask, and then you can double dip on your properties. So.
Did you read the first link in the comment section of the Steel Crusher picture that you posted?
No, I see it now. Yeah, just looks like an old Mask vehicle. It definitely does. So
you know what? I could see this thing transforming into a Prime Breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Or a bulkhead.
Yeah, but this has like all the trappings of the Silas Breakdown.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. Yep. I mean, dude, there's so much. Man, they could do so much with Netflix. With bringing back Mask. Silverhawks. Any of that old stuff, and just straight to Netflix. And I think Voltron did pretty good. I never watched them, but I heard they weren't that
I enjoyed
bad.
that series a lot. I was sad when it
so
the last episode came. I highly
such
recommend it, Matt. Like I did not have much nostalgia for the old Voltron outside of it's a combining robot.
Yeah.
But the new series, it was very well done. So.
But there's so much potential in market for people our age would eat that up if they did straight to Netflix stuff like they're doing the Transformers Z stuff. I'm really excited for that. And if you did straight with G.I. Joe, and they're doing the He-Man, which I'm really excited for. Man, there's so much potential. So many cartoons from the 80s and 90s they could do.
Honestly, and for Netflix, the time is now because Disney is right on the horizon with all the superhero shit's going to be on Disney. It's get out there now and go ahead and start making these contracts for these old nostalgic properties that you can draw people in, get people who love those properties from many years ago to make a quality product, and boom, there's your content that's going to compete with Disney and their bounty hunters and all the other shit that they're going to be pumping out, because we're not going to be seeing a lot of stuff. And go ahead and I guess DC, is DC still doing their own little streaming service, or did that fail? I don't even know what's going on with them.
No, it's still up. Their best show got canceled.
I was gonna say go ahead and get in with them on some of that stuff, but if they're still doing their thing, I guess just wait it out for now.
There's nothing new added to it. I still have it. I keep forgetting to cancel my subscription now that Swamp Thing's over. It's more like an archive of shit that's already been out to go back. Yeah. You can read comics on there and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
now's the time. Go ahead and make some new Batman animated series with them if you can get that in. I think that'd be cool. Revisit the old Batman animated series. People would kill for that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. Well, what's the guy's name? I'm blanking on it right now. Kevin Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be in. A live action Batman, I think.
Nice.
Or is that just talks? One of the shows, one of the crossover, the CW shit. But I think he's gonna play. I don't know if he is gonna play or if they were talking about it, but he was gonna play old Batman.
That's cool.
Old
I think
Bruce
that's
Wayne.
awesome. That's totally something cool to do. So make it happen, Netflix. Let's do some good things. Make it happen, Hasbro. Make some G.I. Joe mask crossover toys. And
Visionaries. There's tons of stuff they could do, man.
Centurions.
Yeah. What was the zip line stuff that used to go across on the vehicles would go on, they'd be on mountains and stuff and they go across zip lines. How many of those?
If you asked me any other time, I could tell you, but right now, because I always
know
think
what
of
I'm talking about, right?
I know.
Yeah,
exactly
and they were
what
all
you're
like
talking
neon
about.
colors.
Yes, they were like a bright yellow and green and stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
What are they called, man? I have to look it up, but
Zipliners or something? No, hold on.
They could do the
their names.
I forgot what they were.
I feel like I really want one.
I got it right here. Hold on. Sky Commanders.
Sky Commanders. Yes. Man, they could do all that. I mean, they could do all that stuff.
You know what?
Man.
I know as a kid, I had a toy box and I had a Sky Commander in it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I never remember seeing any media for it. It's like one of those things that my parents bought me, and I was like, "What the fuck is this thing?" Like, why is it here?
Oh, you know what else I would love to see? Dino Riders.
Sectars. Dino Riders is a.
I would kill for some of the toys, man. I had the T-Rex and the Triceratops. I would love to see some rebirth, or not a rebirth, but just a do-over of Dino Riders. That would be fun. I think that'd be pretty cool. But.
Yeah, Dino Riders is one of those things that I'm personally a little bit surprised that they haven't done more with it at this point, because like kids fucking love dinosaurs,
oh yeah,
my son's freaking crazy about dinosaurs. Like, it's his favorite thing in the world. Like, kids love dinosaurs, kids love guns. I saw
adults love dinosaurs.
Exactly. And like I saw people eating up the corpse, those dinosaur things.
I got some of them. I bought two of them from Walmart.
They released like 4 of them and people were going wild over them. I'm like, this is the type of stuff that absolutely 100% should come out again, because people love dinosaurs, they love guns, So
oh yeah,
I don't understand why that is not a
Priority.
revisited franchise at this point. Like, you can even take all the motorized crap out, like those corpse things. Like, the dinosaurs, from what I saw, didn't even like move, and people still love them.
They did. I got them. They were. They're fine. I mean, they were pretty cool. But, they were, they're not expensive at all. I mean, they were, 10 to, or like $8 to $15 or something like that. So they're not really expensive. So I didn't really expect, all that wonderful stuff that you see on other things. But, still good. Before we go, I wanted to give a big shout out to Emily and Dave. They got some bad news about little Dave and everything. So I just wanted to say, we're thinking about y'all, and hope everything works out and everything, and we're just we're sorry for little man. So I just want to give a big shout out to Emily and Dave over there.
Absolutely.
In England. So we're thinking about y'all.
Definitely.
So is anybody Greg, anything? What do you think about the Spider-Man leaving?
Anything about what? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, did
Spider-Man?
you see that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm boycotting Shoney's.
Shoney's? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love Shoney's. They have a good buffet, man. The breakfast buffet is awesome, dude. Do y'all have Shoney's up there?
I think there's maybe one.
I don't have
one
around.
There's some. I think there's when I went to TFCon in North Carolina, there was one in Tennessee. I stopped by and ate there.
Oh yeah, the last one I went to was actually right over the border into South Carolina, by the theme park, and it was the breakfast buffet, and we got there pretty early, and
nice.
Their way of doing the sautéed mushrooms was just throwing mushrooms in water and hoping that by the time somebody wanted some, they were.
I tried to pump it up, and you're like, yeah, they threw the mushrooms in water. I liked it. I love their little French toast sticks and everything. But I actually worked. My first job was Shoney's. My stepdad was a manager of Shoney's way back in the day, like when I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah, I like Shoney's.
Yeah, they used to have tons of them in the South, but a lot of them. There's one in Memphis on the way to the airport. I stop by sometimes when I fly out to TFCon or something. But yeah, that's my first job was Shoney's. Remember they had the Friday night was the seafood buffet. They had a bunch of crab legs and a bunch of other stuff, shrimp and everything. Peel them and eat shrimp.
Was that your first and your last day at your first job?
No, no, I was there for a while. I was in high school. I didn't last a long time, but I worked there a couple months. I'd say about 3 or 4 months. So.
Did you wear the Shoney bear costume?
I did not. I never had a chance to do that. I'm sorry.
What was your first job, Greg?
I was a busboy at a diner.
Oh, nice. I was a busboy at Sizzling.
And then
what was your first job? Oh,
my first job that actually lasted longer than like a month or two was Domino's Pizza.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I worked at Crystal's, which is one of my favorite places to eat. I got to eat at Crystal's actually going down to Alabama. I worked at Crystal for half a night. That was the fastest job I quit ever. It was overnight, and I just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to do this. So I last half a night there. What was your first job, Justin?
I worked. I don't know if anyone's familiar because they're kind of they're a larger chain in this area, but they are still relatively small. It's Modell's Sporting Goods. It's a sporting goods store in the mall, and it was a total shitty job.
Wait, what was it called?
Modell's. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of spelled like models, but it's not. So.
It's pronounced Modell's.
Modell's.
Like Target is pronounced Target.
Yeah. So it looks like it's spelled models, but there is a slight difference in the spelling. But it's a northeast chain, and I don't even know how far northeast it goes. I'm pretty sure it originates outside Pennsylvania somewhere. So it's like New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. I think some are in Maryland. There's definitely some in Delaware. But they were a huge like mall chain in this area. So, and I was all over the place there. Like, yeah, the worst part of that, like I was there for 2 years, I'd say, and I will never forget the experience. They at one point they're like, "Do you want to work in the shoe area?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like a fun time." I'm like, I get to go back there on the ladder, hang out in the back stock room for a little bit, and be like, "Nope, don't have your size shoe." Like, absolutely, I want to do that, but like, I'll never forget the time this one dude walked in with this like super busted ass pair of shoes. Like, this guy had probably worn them on his feet for the last 15 years without taking them off, and like, this dude took off his shoes and the whole store stunk, and like we're all like, what, like gagging in the store, and like, yeah, that was the worst experience of my life. And from that day I was like, I don't want to wear shoes anymore. Like, I don't even care if I can go to the back room, because that did not escape what I had smelled not being in the back room.
So your dream of being Al Bundy was not?
No, it was not. So yeah, and that was unfortunately frowned upon. I could not no ma'am any customers. So
nice.
Yeah.
Apparently the closest Modell's to me is Germantown, Maryland.
Yeah, so that sounds about
pretty
right.
Far. Yeah.
And they closed at 9 o'clock, so
you're not getting there tonight.
Not gonna make it, man. Bob and I can make it tomorrow. If he wants to, yeah, that's fun. All right.
I think that about does it for this show. You got a little bit of our past, you got a little bit of our top 5, and you got a little bit of our opinions on how we can make the world a better place in terms of streaming content on various platforms, as well as how toys should proceed. So we're gonna get the fuck out of here, because that's why.
Thank y'all for listening, and good night, folks.
Good night.
Shardouts to Cool Table Network, ROC, Edges Around, Toy Detox, Plastic Fanatics, Spirit Vultures, Nerve Rage Radio, and Wigs.
And my personal favorite, the well-established Gentleman's Show, Stasis Lock.
At Real Robot, at Fear Corpse.
I am Ratchet.
Third Party TF Crashers, and Open Your Toys Podcast.
This podcast is intended for mature audiences. This is only the sole purpose to entertain. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it now and shut the fuck